Hey folks, welcome to Farnhams here in Essex on Route 133. I'm Corey Cooker along with my co-host Maureen Aylward. How are you doing, Maureen?
Corey, I'm great today.
And this is another episode of Now We're Here. We're going to be talking all things Essex with you for the next hour or so. We have a bunch of guests lined up for you, touching on all sorts of different things going on in and around this area. So we're excited to share that with you. And if you haven't seen us already, we've already bounced around to a few different neighborhoods around Cape Ann so far. We were on the Fiesta stage last time around.
That's right. We're at Cafe Cecilia.
Yeah, that was beautiful too.
That's right. We're at Sherry's Corner Cafe.
Magnolia,
in
yeah.
Magnolia. So we're really getting good at this, and we hope that you'll join us sometime. Come on down and join the fun. You can see the production, but it's always great to
get some clams.
Yeah, get some clams. You can get some water.
Yeah, bring us some greenhead repellent.
So we're sitting here on the beautiful Great Marsh at JT Farnhams on 133, and it seems to be also the greenhead capital of the world this morning.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
It's letting up just a little bit. The breeze is picking up, so we've been spared just for a moment. We're going to be spared for this 1 hour, but if you see us swatting, you'll forgive us, right?
Yeah, you'll love it. So just let us know how it looks and sounds, and let us know if you want us to visit your neck of the woods sometime soon. For now, we're here. But right off the bat, we have a great guest to introduce, Maureen.
That's right. We've got Dawn Burnham, who is the Assistant Town Clerk for the town of Essex, and she's also the Essex Bicentennial Chairman. So
Thank you.
Welcome, Dawn. I would suggest that you just hold this very close like that.
So the cars don't get in the way.
Yeah, just so we can hear what you're saying.
Okay.
So thank you so much. This is a big year in Essex. Of course, it's your
It is.
bicentennial.
Yes.
And as the chairman, what are you doing, or what's coming up? What's the...
Well, we've been
Give us a
working on
scoop.
this for 5 years. There's about 20 people that have been meeting once a month for 5 years working on it. We've already had an ice cream social kickoff, which you covered very nicely. And, sorry, greenhead in my ear.
Greenheads.
And the next event is we're going to rededicate the ancient cemetery, which is down on Main Street behind the Shipbuilding Museum. And
how ancient is that?
there are revolutionary
Oh.
people buried, soldiers buried there.
So it goes
they'll
up going back
1770s.
1770s?
Yes, they'll be reading their names. John Wise, who was one of Essex's famous citizens back
Yes,
then,
right, of
is
course.
buried there.
Yeah.
And the Daughters of the American Revolution have a very set program that they do, and it's really nice.
Cool.
That's
So they'll be doing
great.
that.
And you've got some fireworks coming
The
up.
biggest part of the whole celebration is coming up on the 9th and 10th of August. And we have a huge fireworks display that Andrew Spinney and his wife have donated the money for. Biggest thing that we need to get out to the public is the parking lot behind the bank and the fire station and way down back for the boats. All of that is going to be closed the whole day because they're going to be in there setting up the fireworks, so we can't have people in and out of the park.
So where do people go?
They're going to have to get creative.
That sounds like Essex.
This is a walking
Essex
community. We should
Yes.
point that out.
Yes, we don't have a lot of parking, so it's going to be interesting. The night of the fireworks, people can park up at the school. We've got permission to open that up so that people
That's
can
great.
park up there and then walk down
Yeah.
to the fireworks. We also have food trucks coming, and we'll have some music from
Nice.
5 to 8
Wow.
before the fireworks.
It's a real festival.
It is. It's going to be
Yeah.
wonderful.
What's one of your favorite stories about Essex? When
you're a lifer,
looking
right,
back,
Dawn?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So your
Yes.
family goes way back. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My husband's family goes way back to, they came over on a ship called the Angel Gabriel. It hit a storm just north of Massachusetts, and it actually sank. But the families all got ashore, and several of them made their way down here. The Cogswells, the Choates, the Burnhams, the Stories, a lot of them were on that ship. And that is going to be one of the floats in the parade. One of the descendants is going to have a bunch of,
Really interesting.
yes,
That's
the
a lot of
down
fun.
line on the float.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
And
so it's really
I'm sorry. How have you seen Essex evolve in your lifetime to where we stand today?
Well, the interesting part about Essex is because we have so much marsh here, we haven't really grown as much as of a lot of places around us. So our tagline is 200 years old and still a small town. And Mother Nature has helped us to stay that way.
True.
We do have a lot of new people moving in, mainly because of the school system. So they come when their children are 5, and they don't know a lot of the history. So I and my committee have taken it upon ourselves to really try and educate people about the history. We have ongoing programs up on the 3rd floor of the town hall.
Town hall's
every
gorgeous,
month.
by the way.
Yeah, beautiful
It did come out
restoration.
really nice.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And we've really used the 3rd floor a lot. Right now we have a beautiful train display up there, which a lot of people don't even know the train used to come to Essex.
That's right.
We had
Right.
a huge ice business here. We had a shoe factory over here in South Essex that employed 105 people, and a lot of the women actually took projects home from the shoe factory and worked on shoes in their own houses and then brought them back.
And I remember, I've heard that there were hundreds of thousands of tons of ice
Yes.
transported by the railroad from Chabaco.
And supposedly it actually went to England because Queen Victoria liked Chabaco Lake ice.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I know there's all these fun stories that you've got.
And so we're really trying to put them out there.
Mm-hmm.
The month of November, we're going to have a lot of different people coming in telling different stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a lot of fun.
So what about the parade that's coming up? When
The parade
can you
is
tell us about that?
The parade is on the 10th. Step off is at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to start right down here at the intersection of Southern Avenue and 133. We have the Shriners coming, and I don't know, they haven't been on the Cape Ann area for probably close to 50 years.
Right.
Really?
And they have 12 units coming. There's 3 bands. They have little golf carts that they
Yeah,
fix
right,
up like fire
right.
engines, and
I
it's
want
good.
one
That
of those.
part's going to
Yeah,
be a
it's
lot
really
of fun. And then we have 6 other bands coming. We have, I think we're going to have 20 floats from people in town and businesses.
So you want people from outside of
Oh,
Essex
yes.
to come down and celebrate with
We
you.
want a big crowd for the fireworks
That's
and the parade.
right. The fireworks and the parade back to back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sleep very well on Monday morning because on Sunday we have invited all of the people who are octogenarians
Yeah, I
and
was just gonna ask you
nonagenarians, which means they're 80 and 90. We actually have someone in town who's 105 years old.
Oh.
She's going to be
Amazing.
one of the Grand Marshals, Patricia Harrington. And then Randall Lane is going to be the other Grand Marshal, and he's 100, and he is a lifelong resident of Essex. So he has a lot of fun stories
That's
too.
great.
Oh, that's
Well,
awesome.
Dawn, thank you so much for talking about
Thank
the
you
Essex
for having me
Bicentennial.
here.
Come on down to the
Yeah.
Essex Bicentennial and the website where you can find more
Right.
If
information.
you go to essexma.org, all lowercase, and click on under the committees and boards, the Bicentennial Committee, all of the events are listed there and all of the details are there.
Yeah, and that website too. Once you land there, you see the
Yeah.
latest events right on the front
And if you have
page,
any
too.
questions that aren't answered there, my email address is there and you can always email me and I'll get back to you.
Awesome.
It's great fun to celebrate the different communities of Cape Ann. So congratulations on all this amazing
you.
work.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks
I
so
have a
much.
wonderful crew working on this. I have to
We
give them
believe it.
credit.
That's great.
Big
Yes.
year in Essex.
I know,
Yes.
it's a big year. Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dawn,
Dawn.
so much. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we plan on covering a lot more events in Essex throughout the summer and fall, as Don was just alluding to. Not only do you have the fireworks and the parade coming up to celebrate the Bicentennial, but there are also special events always happening at the Town Hall, which sits right on top of Memorial Park in Essex. It's a beautiful spot if you haven't been before. And we will be there for an hour here, I guarantee, before the year is out.
Yes, definitely in the colder weather. Well, our next guest is Peter Phippen. Come on in, Peter.
Sure.
He's the coastal coordinator for MassBay Estuary
Peter.
program.
Nice to meet you.
morning.
How are you?
Peter's also an Essex Selectman. So, Peter, I'm actually just going to hand
Sure.
that to you so you can
Yeah.
put that right
Okay.
up to you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks
Sure,
for
no
joining us.
problem.
We're sitting with the amazing Great Marsh in the background, and you're working on this. This is what you do.
Yes,
Could you
yes.
tell us a little bit about the marsh and then move into your work and the coastal resiliency work that you're doing?
Sure. The Great Marsh is about 25,000 acres. It stretches from really down in the Annisquam River all the way up to New Hampshire border and beyond. My region is Gloucester to the New Hampshire border, so I encompass the entire Great Marsh with my coastal work. So it's made up of marshes, creeks, and barrier beaches, essentially, and some upland islands here and there. But
So why is the Great Marsh important for coastal resiliency?
it's a natural buffer. It's a natural habitat that serves as a buffer to protect not only the built infrastructure, but also the habitats of the non-human creatures. We have quite a few projects that we're working on just in Essex alone.
Yeah, tell us about those.
Sure. One of them right now is off back of Cranes Beach there, you can see in the background. It's a municipal vulnerability preparedness grant funding that we received, the town of Essex. We're working with the trustees of reservation, and we're looking at sediment movement along the face of the beach and the back of the beach, and also looking at where that sediment is being deposited, how the opening to the mouth of the Essex River is changing. That has an impact on this area in that when you have a northeast storm, the wider it is, the more storm surge, the bigger the waves are going to come down in and start to impact, like Canomo Point a few years ago where it destroyed the seawall and such. That's one project. Another MVP grant is something over near Lowe's Island, which is a pilot project that we've been working on for a couple of years, and this is looking at thin layer deposition of sediment, which was a natural event that occurred back in January of 2018. We wanted to take advantage of that. We got some fun to look at it. It's a potential technique that you use to help the marsh keep up with sea level rise, the marsh platform.
So you increase the sediment on the marsh to build it up, essentially.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, as a part of the dredging project that the Essex is now in the queue for, some of that finer sediment could potentially be used to be spread out in thin layers on the marsh to help build the marsh. The sandier stuff, of course, would go as beach nourishment, on some of the outer beaches. But also at that pilot site in Lowe's Island, we're working on some funding with Mystic River Watershed Association that needed to spend some money outside of their region. They came to us looking for some projects, and we're looking at something called runneling, which is like swales that you put in the marsh, and that's to help drain the marsh, because with sea level rise happening, you're getting a lot more water up on the marsh, and it's ponding, it's not going away.
So does that destroy parts of the marsh with the salt water?
Yeah, it starts to kill it off.
Yeah.
So we want to drain it out very gently. We don't want to put in more ditching like was done for the mosquitoes 100 years ago or so. So just shallow drainage ditches to allow some of that water to drain off. And speaking of the ditches, we're also doing some work where we're filling the ditches by mowing grasses nearby, rolling them into the ditch, and allowing that grass to filter out sediments and help to build the marsh from the bottom up.
So this is a research project. So
this is a pilot project.
It's a pilot project,
yes.
A research project. So you'll be able to take the research and the data from that and take a look at whether or not it's working.
A viable
option for other types of marshes.
Certainly.
Across on the East Coast.
Certainly, it's done in other parts of the country, but not in Massachusetts yet. Another project that we've more or less completed is an eel grass restoration. Eel grass is a subtidal plant that helps to stabilize sediments and the channel, and that's sorry, I'm getting eaten by
Could you do anything about the greenheads? Is there anything in action for that?
No.
Greenhead capital of the world.
But that's in the Essex River on the outside of Canomo Point. We've been doing other research projects. We've been looking at marsh edge erosion. As I mentioned, you're getting a lot more waves coming into Essex Bay, so we've been monitoring the erosion of the marsh edges. Green crabs is an invasive crab. The state has funded that to allow clammers or trappers to trap those, and we've been monitoring them because nobody really knows too much about the green crab.
Yeah, the green crab issue is coming up in a bunch of different ways. As an Essex Selectman, there's a big meeting coming up on September 23rd.
Yes.
And could you just, for our viewers' sake, talk? It's about the public safety building. Could you just talk about that? So,
yes,
update us that.
This will be
quickly.
to vote on the funding of the public safety building. Prior to that meeting, we will have a pretty exact cost as to what that will be. Right now, we're in the process of developing the construction plans and all that sort of stuff, so we don't have the numbers quite yet, but they will be ready for then, and we hope that everybody can come down and to the meeting and vote on that.
So September 23rd, everybody in Essex, Essex residents go down and vote on that very important meeting. So Peter, Phippen, thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you on 1623 again.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Peter, if people want to learn more about the Estuary program, how can they do that?
They can contact me. They can Google Great Marsh Partnership.
Okay.
And get a
Great
hold of me.
Marsh Partnership.
It's all one word, yeah.
Is that .org? Or Google it?
Just Google it,
Google
and
it,
something
okay.
will come up, and that will get to our team. We have a team of people that work on a lot of projects, and that team changes, but there's a core group, and that'll get you to the core group, and I'm the lead on that, and they can contact me.
Great.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks for your
Excellent.
time.
Thanks for coming
Appreciate
on.
it.
Take care.
I liked having you on. Thank you so much for that update.
That was great having Peter there. Very fitting as we stand before
We'll just
the
keep holding
Great
this.
Marsh here too, and it's cool to
That's
see all the
right.
different kinds of programs they have to do,
No.
not only to preserve it, but let it thrive and protect the area as well.
Right.
As you know, the area we're in right now on the causeway tends to get a little flooded every now and then.
That's
Yeah,
right.
So they're doing yeoman's work, so cheers to them.
So our next guests are Justin Demetri and Chris Stepler from the Essex Shipbuilding
What's up, kid?
Museum.
How you doing, Jess? Good to see you.
Good to
bud.
see you.
So just as a
Nice to meet
reminder,
you.
just speak into the mic, and
Sure.
when you talk, you're going to have it too. The Essex Shipbuilding Museum, a treasure.
Absolutely.
A treasure. Tell us about what's happening over there right now.
Well, we're in the middle of our summer season, so we're open Wednesday through Sunday, 10 to 5. We offer 3 guided tours a day. We also offer self-tours all day long. And on top of that, we have some fun projects and some exhibits worth mentioning.
Mention.
Sure. Well, the big one that we're really proud of is a Clam Skiff exhibit that was funded by the Essex County Cultural Foundation. And over the course of the season, we've had some high school students come in. They have taken the lines off what may be one of the last surviving Essex clamming skiffs and created a beautiful replica. We've combined that, Chris and I, with some historical documentation, some great photos. We're working on oral histories. And another really cool aspect is Chris and a friend of ours who's a basket making historian are running classes on how to make the traditional Essex clamming baskets.
That's
that we're
really
also part of.
exciting. That's wonderful that you're doing these workshops of keeping the old crafts alive.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
One of the neat things is, when you build about 4,000 big vessels, you tend to ignore the small ones. So it's about time that we kind of got in and documented this really interesting, unique piece of local culture before it all went away. So, and we're not done. We're still, chronicling some of these histories, still talking to some of the old-time clammers. And so that's just one of the things that we do at the Essex Shipbuilding Museum. We don't just build, we're not just a museum, we're a working boat yard. We do a little bit of everything.
Right. Yeah. Harold Burnham is right there, of course.
That's a good friend of ours.
Yes,
and when
indeed.
he's busy, it tends to help our business as well.
That's right.
And we always like to help as well. It's all for a good cause.
Well, I have a
great.
question for Chris and Justin. As younger guys, the attraction of working in an historic museum like this, what was the draw for you to end up in your place today?
Well, for me, it was just my own history. I grew up right by the water and always enjoyed messing around on boats, and this was just a continuation. And that was the base interest, but the history that Essex has is so fascinating. It's so interconnected with the rest of Cape Ann and beyond. It was just so compelling that I decided to stick around.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it is definitely compelling that the Essex Shipbuilding Museum is there in one of the spots where they used to build the fishing schooners. So that's fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we're in the 80-story shipyard, and it's a shipyard that has been in the Story family from 1819 to when we bought it in 1995. And it's a site that's seen countless vessels launched, including, of course, 80 Story was the most prolific shipbuilder in Essex. He built over 400 vessels on that site and subcontracted to a few others. But it's a piece of land with a lot of history, and the structures that we have reflect that.
So the shipyard itself is also celebrating its bicentennial?
It is
1890, right?
pretty special.
Just coincidence?
Coincidentally.
Look, it's something to add to the parade, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, in terms of educational program, do you have programs that that are located at the shipbuilding museums? But are you doing anything out on the river? Or do you have any kind of programs that young people can join? Or
Oh yes, we have lots of programs. We have the program that built the Clam Skiff is ongoing. We had them on board for that. Before that, they built the dory for the Adventure, one of the two
right,
that
I
was
heard
built.
about
The
that.
other was up at
Yeah.
Lowell's Boat Shop. And they continue to help us around the yard to keep on working on these other boats, Sharptown barges, which have been built over the years, the last 3 years with the O'Malley Middle School. They build 2 boats in 2 days with about 40 kids.
What?
And it's not just the boats. They make the oars, they make the thole pins and the grommets act as oarlocks to row with them, and they learn how to row. So it's a pretty spectacular thing.
That's wild.
That we've
That
got
is
going.
incredible, and that's right here at the Essex Shipbuilding Museum. That's really a remarkable experience for young people to have that hands-on experience and to be able to build things. Right?
Yeah, you see a change, even in the students that are here for 2 days, or even for a 2-hour visit to go out rowing on the river with us.
Right.
There's a noticeable difference. They come in and they're all having fun. It's an off-site field trip, but then each one of them kind of finds their own thing to take away from it, whether it's using a tool, whether it's not wanting to use a tool, learning how to use it, and kind of having that light bulb come on that they can do something, or just going out into the Great Marsh and rowing around and finding, something that's really interesting that they had never found before to pique their interest and kind of drive them on in their schooling from there.
Right. Awesome stuff. So, any immediate things going on? We talked about the Clam Skiff things happening right now. Are there any other big plans for the museum for this summer? And I also want to ask too, how has it been tourism-wise? Has the spike come as it was expected?
It's been a slow June, July. We're picking up, and we expect it to stay nice and busy. And we have quite a few events coming up very immediately. 1 o'clock today, we're having a free rowing program for our members. We call it our pop-up rowing, and we announce it 24 hours ahead of time on our Facebook and our Instagram pages. You go to our website, if you remember, you sign up, and then you show up 15 minutes ahead. We go out, we row for a couple hours, and then come back in.
Today is a beautiful day. I
So
mean,
is the
it's-
handle the same too? Is it Essex Shipbuilding Museum? Is the handle for all social?
For Facebook and for Instagram.
Great.
And then the next event we have is our Greenheads Gone party. We're all getting
we
attacked.
did that
Believe it when I see it, Chris.
But August 2nd, Friday evening, 6 to 8 p.m., we're having a cookout and
like
a big party to celebrate the death of the Greenheads, which hopefully it will be that evening that the highest tide at the beginning of August comes in and drowns all of their nests.
No kidding. Is that usually how it goes?
That's usually how it goes. They arrive just after the 1st, and they leave somewhere in the first week of August.
Wow, that's great. Good to know. We just missed on the scheduling this time. The
think?
Greenheads today.
Well, we would love to actually be at the museum for one of these shows
Yeah,
in the future
yes.
too.
At some point, it'd be really fun for us to be there.
Because that is, if you haven't checked out the museum yet,
You have to go if you're a Cape Anner.
it's
You
really
gotta go.
cool. Yeah. So thanks so much for joining us, guys. We really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Justin, Demetri, and Chris Stepler from the Essex Shipbuilding Museum.
Thanks so
And
much
find
for
them
having
on
us.
social, Essex Shipbuilding Museum, or people need to contact you if they want to learn about membership. How can they do that?
They can email me, chris@essexshipbuilding.org, or sign up on the website.
Very
That's
cool.
great.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for spending
Thanks so
time
much.
with
Thank
us.
you so much.
See you, Just. Have
We
a
love
good one,
learning
bud.
about it.
There you go. Chris
Yeah.
Stepler and Justin Demetri from the Essex Shipbuilding Museum. And I think that's one of the coolest things about that museum is it's on a working waterfront, and they're actually doing
Right.
work on site too.
And it's a historic place where they used to build the Essex schooners that used to go out and fish.
Yeah.
Adventure is an Essex-built schooner. Also, Roseway is an Essex-built schooner. The Ernestina is an Essex-built schooner that is being renovated up in Maine right now. So we do have vessels. Well, of course, the Ardell is an Essex-built schooner by Harold Burnham. But we have vessels that are sailing in our waters on Cape Ann that were built right here in Essex. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful place to visit, the Essex Shipbuilding Museum. Well, our next guest, come on in, Terry.
She put the T in JT Farnhams. It's owner Terry Cellucci. Thanks, Terry, for joining us and having
Terry.
us today. This is awesome.
Thank you for hosting us. You can just hold that.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you for being so generous and having us here. It's a beautiful location. It's really spectacular.
Yes.
And, well, your clam just can't be beat.
People
That's
love
what
them.
they tell us.
Yeah,
the
people
spot.
love it.
So
This
now-
is the spot.
So originally this was Wilson's.
It was
Right.
built in 1941 by the
41.
Wilsons family. They ran it for 3 years and they sold it to the Farnhams. And at that time, it was just a little roadside stand, takeout only. And when the Farnhams purchased it in 1944, they also ran it as a clam shack and then added on a dining room because people were now just not wanting to eat out, takeout. They wanted to sit in and eat in, so they added the dining room. And ironically, Joe Senior Farnham would actually close off the dining room because people were lingering. And we do have limited parking, so he would encourage people to eat and leave. But as we found today with the trends, people want to sit, they want to have a glass of wine or beer, and it's a destination.
Yeah.
It's not, we're just eating and
Truly.
leaving. We want to hang around, take pictures, enjoy the view.
Yeah.
So somebody mentioned this to me the other day, that this is the Clam Highway.
This is the Clam
This
Highway.
is the Clam Highway,
yes.
and Essex is so well known for both clams, but also antiques. So who do you find stopping by? Do you find that there's like, you know, in terms of the summer time, and of course locals come here, but who comes by from different parts of New England, or do you get people coming by from different parts of the world?
To answer that, we get people from everywhere. We definitely are an after the beach. People go to the beach, salt water, they want fried clams and scallops and fish. Back in 2007, Guy Fieri came and did Diners, Drive-In and Dives. That put us on the world map.
Really?
Because now
That's great.
that's international, and we've had people fly in for the weekend because they saw his show, and he's got an unbelievable following.
It's amazing the lasting power of just that episode airing.
Yeah, advertising could not pay for what he did. He put us on the map,
Right.
and it's been incredible. So we get locals, we get people that plan their trips according to, you know, his suggestions, and Farnhams is on their list.
Well, you brought a little prop here.
I did.
Here, I'll hold it up.
This was
Is
given
this
to
a
me-
picture?
It is. It's a picture
It's
that was
the
given to
original.
me by the niece of John Wilson, and she asked if I'd be kind enough to post it in the restaurant to give her family.
A little bit of
just to
credit, a little
keep
bit of
it here,
exposure,
just
yes.
to, like,
Get that
just
name
so-
alive
yes.
somehow,
Yeah. How special? How special?
This is awesome.
And it's black and white. John had come just back from the war.
Yeah,
and
right.
You can see how the road is kind of the same, but it's now a highway.
Yeah. Have there been, how many modifications? A lot.
So what
over
I was saying
time?
is the Farnhams added a dining room.
Yeah.
But back in 1997, after the 3 years that we owned it, we did a build out. We went out 11 feet by 52, the length of the building, and we were lucky to do that because the following year the Rivers Act came in, so you cannot go within 100 feet.
Wow.
We brought the bathroom inside. We brought little bit more seating inside, and gave the kitchen a lot more room because now we've expanded and we need
Well,
more.
it's just such a great experience to come here for an afternoon, to have dinner, or, you know, stop by for lunch. It's cozy, and it's just so genuine. It's just so authentic. I love it.
Yeah, it's a mom and
Great.
pop. It's
Yeah.
very unique. The
Yeah.
area is unique to this, and the food and the people that work here.
Yeah.
It all makes it an experience.
It's
I
all
know.
fun seeing how excitable the locals get when the season turns around, because you always say we're going to get clams, and you know where you're going to get your
Yeah.
clams.
Mhm.
I've
Going
had
to
a grown
Farnhams.
man jump up and down in front of the register. So I am so happy to get my clams.
Yes.
And that's
Well, it's not just clams that you offer here. You offer a little bit more. And also, we should note that Corey and Heather Atwood are going to be doing Short and Sweet.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Right after this, stay
Wonderful.
tuned for Short and Sweet, in
Yeah.
which Terry's going to be the guest.
It's a deeper dive into all the food offerings and
Yeah.
the recipes and the history and all that. so we
Again,
hope you
maybe
stick
you're going to
around.
just spill some secrets today on one of our shows.
Tight-lipped.
those are for sale.
So, what drew you to the business to begin with?
I always wanted to open a deli, but I knew you had to be married to it, so I was looking for a partner outside my husband, and he was in high tech, and at that time they were laying off, and I live in the neighborhood, and I said, you know, Farnhams has been for sale for a long time. Maybe, you know, we could look into that, and we started looking into it. One thing led to another, and we bought it, and people knocking on the door, and we want clams. And I said, we can't do a deli. This has to
Right,
be clams.
right, of course, yeah.
We did what the Farnhams did, and 90% of their business was just clams. Since we took it over in 1994.
Right.
I asked customers, I had a suggestion box, what would they like? They wanted salads, they wanted grilled seafoods, they wanted chowders, they wanted lobsters, and we had all that. And so we made it possible. So now we extended our menu, and now we don't do just all clams. It's all about the scallops and the fish, and it's really close as far as quantity goes, what we sell and what people come in for.
I think it's working,
great.
Terry, because we
Yeah.
came here to scout the location the other day. It was packed by 11:30 in the morning. You're going to have a big crowd this weekend. The weather's been awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be beach weather, 100
the good weekend
degrees
weather
this
this summer,
weekend.
too, which is what we were due. You know, so it should be really fun. But yeah, it's a gorgeous spot. How lucky are you to be
Yes.
here every
I
day
know.
looking
My
out at
work
this?
environment.
Yeah, I know, it's bliss, right?
Yeah.
Well, Terry Cellucci from JT Farnhams, thanks so much for hosting us and also for coming on for a spot.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Short and
Short and
sweet.
sweet
Awesome.
is on right after Now We're Here. Thanks,
Thank
Terry.
you,
Don't forget your...
Come see Terry and Joe right here at Farnhams, folks. We'll be here for the next couple of hours hanging out. If you want to have some lunch, you can have that with us too. I could go for a French fry as well. I'll just throw that out there.
I
while we're
love
sitting
French
here.
fries too.
So this has been fun.
It's
You
been
can't go wrong
great
in
fun.
Essex.
Well, you know,
Oh,
16...
Shell.
You want to bring...
Huh?
Come, bring her on.
Come on, Shell. It's my friend Shelly Nicastro from Essex Bird Shop and Pet Supply right down the
Shelly.
street. Hi,
Good to
Shell.
meet you.
Good to see you
I'm just
again.
going to have you hold this close.
Thanks for doing this, Shell.
All right.
This is awesome. So I guess, do you want to give us just a little bit of the business background, because that's sort of interesting too.
Okay.
Because the Bird Shop and Pet Supply has been a mainstay here for a long time,
It has.
and then your family came in too, not unlike how what happened in the Farnham situation.
Yeah. So the Perkins, Jane and Tom Perkins, started the Essex Bird Shop and Pet Supply. They started up at up by Cape Ann Pizza back around 1978, 79. They ran it, and then my sister and I kind of stepped into it at the end of 2008. So we actually started ourselves. So this is our 10th year.
Oh,
So we
very
bought it
cool.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And from them, and we've loved it. It's me and my sister Susan. We grew up just a mile or two down the road, right in West Gloucester, and it's great to be able to live and work so close, you know.
Yes, yes, we know that.
Yeah. So, and for those who don't know, so you're doing supplies for not just, of course, birds and dogs and cats, but really because the farming community here.
Yeah, tell us about that, because that's really fascinating.
There's a lot of backyard farmers. Chickens. Chickens are big.
Huh.
It's there's a lot out there, and we do sell a lot of chicken feed. We have a little bit of shavings, hay, a little of everything you need for just a small backyard farm. We can't quite supply a big farm. But,
So like you could get hay for horses or donkeys and...
Yep, we have a lot of people that have like goats and
Goats.
rabbits and
Yeah.
guinea pigs, and we have all the supplies they need for that. We put a lot of stuff into a small space. You'd
Yes.
be surprised. You got to come in, you got to look around, you got to look up. We have a lot of stuff
You gotta look
up
up.
high, wild bird supplies,
Right, yeah.
domestic bird, cat, dog, small animals.
Yeah.
We try to do it all.
So where did you get your animal expertise from? I mean, have you always just loved animals growing up as a kid, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We blame it on our mother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she started. She got her first horse when I was just a baby. So we grew up on a small horse farm, breeding horses. We've had over 8 babies born at our place over the years.
Really?
The last one born there is now 6 years old. He's my baby.
Yeah.
And so just growing up around that and learning, and there was always dogs and cats, and then when I had children, my daughter had to have everything under the sun. It was the hamster, the guinea pig, the rabbit, so.
So you already had all this experience coming
Yes.
into being a business owner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there one particular item that you carry that you're surprised that people come in and buy?
One particular item.
Or like a story about folks coming in to...
Gosh, nothing's really jumping into my mind right now. Here's one thing, we sell live crickets. We don't have any other live animals. We just have the supplies for them. So people call us all the time asking what kind of birds we sell. And we're like, we don't supply the birds. You have to do that, but we have everything else you need for them. But we do have live crickets, live mealworms, for bearded dragons and geckos and spiders.
No kidding.
I love spiders.
Really?
I do. I love spiders.
I've seen your reaction to greenheads. I can't buy the spider thing.
I've been totally zen about the greenheads today.
So, Shell, you've always been someone that I've talked to about the business side of things and how to wrap your head around it and stay in the game and deal with clients. So, one thing that's always stuck with me was there's sort of a certain point, like you took over a popular business.
Yes.
And built off of that. And you've kept that same clientele, and your clientele's obviously grown. So I just want to know a little bit about the people that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, because it's for the most part, I would think hyper-local as well, right?
It is very local in general. We do pull people from Gloucester, Essex, Hamilton, Wenham, a lot of people from Manchester, even Ipswich, just all the surrounding communities. We have the best customers. You know, a lot of retail places, you work in a supermarket and stuff, and you hear a lot of bad stories about just people just have some attitudes, and it comes out on the employees sometimes. And we just don't really see that. Our people are just, our customers are happy. They, people with pets just tend to be happy, I think, anyway.
True. And
they're happy to come in and buy stuff for their pets.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can you talk about the women-owned businesses of the Essex Scenic
Coastal
Byway,
It's a mouthful.
which is what we're on
Yeah.
right now. Talk about that, because that's really a wonderfully unique thing that you've been featured on.
It is. A few women in the area that we all own our own businesses. Pauline's from Pauline's Gifts, and
Georgianne from Seameadow Gifts and Gardens, Joanna Cassia from Ipswich Gallery,
Trina Lafata from
Essex Exchange.
Essex Exchange. A couple of them got this idea and they put it together, and they came around to a few of us other businesses and said, hey, do you want to join in? And we said, yeah, that sounds great. Anything we can do to help each other build and grow our own businesses is just a positive thing. And one of them got the idea in their head to go ahead and call Chronicle and just said, what the heck, maybe they'll put us on, and they did. 2 years ago, they put us on a Chronicle episode, and it's run 2 more times since, and it's been a great experience. And we still have people coming through, and they start. It's the trail, so we each have a number 1 through 10, and people will follow that trail and go along the Essex Scenic Coastal Byway, and it helps other businesses because they'll stop for lunch. They'll stop in Farnhams or Woodman's or wherever along the route to grab lunch as they stop in. And it's a great thing.
It really is too. And another thing that I don't know if all the businesses participate in this, but I know when you're sending off packages to the troops through Operation Troop Support, and it's for the female active duty in the military, and so like feminine products or things a woman needs overseas, and you also collect these as well, and I think that happens at least once a year, if not twice, right?
We've done it at least twice, at least once a year, and we just put a donation box out, and it's amazing the amount of donations that come in, and the group sends them over to women that need these things, and it's not to exclude the men, but it's just kind of our niche,
Right. I think it's an awesome angle
it's just
too.
a focus for us.
Yeah, very cool. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Mom.
No, you can go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so what? Any plans for the rest of the summer? Do you just kind of like
that was my
survive
question.
the summer because it's
That was my question. Do you have
once
anything
it's
special
like
that you want to
tick
do?
season, and like I don't know if it's more of an aggravator for animals or.
Well, it is obviously. It changes seasonally for us at the shop. Just different things more people feed birds in the winter because they need it. But there's a lot of people that feed all summer because there's a lot of different birds that come through. So
it's true. That's what I do.
There's a lot of that kicks
I
up.
can't feed the birds in my yard because of raccoons and coyotes, fisher cats, and
there's some
etc.
answers to that. You can come in and talk to us. We'll
Oh,
give you some ideas.
Because I was just thinking, looking out my window, I have 2 new Maine Coon cats, and I wish that there were a few more
it's kitty
boards.
TV for the kitties.
It totally is. We have a little red squirrel, a pair of red squirrels in our apple tree, so the cats are all crazy about that.
Oh, definitely. They love seeing those running by.
Yes, they do. Yeah. All right, I'll be in.
Great.
We'll have a conversation.
Perfect.
Awesome, Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you,
Thank
Shelley.
Awesome. I
Thanks for having me.
love talking to you, Shelly.
Absolutely.
I pop in just every now and then just to say hi.
I'm sure you do.
Well, then I have to. I got a couple of big dogs at home, so
Right,
it's like, Shell,
right.
what is going to occupy this dude for like? I have a 170-pound
Nothing.
mastiff, and it's really
Occupies
nothing.
Bubba.
No, he's a big boy. But so thanks again for your
All right,
time.
thanks.
Shelley
Thank you.
Nicastro,
Yeah.
owner of Essex Bird Shop and Pet Supply, right here on 133, over by Schooners Market.
Yes, we are.
Can't
So
miss it.
stop by for all your
Stop
pet
in.
supplies. That's right.
Yes,
thank
thank
you,
you.
Shelley.
Thanks, Shelley,
Wonderful to meet
so
you.
much.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming on Now We're Here.
Yeah.
So it's Now We're Here. I'm Maureen Aylward. This is Corey Kukuru. And we've got another wonderful guest coming in,
Thanks,
Chris Williams. Wait a second. Why isn't Fenella coming on with you?
Fenella, you won't do this, right?
Fenella.
You baby. So Chris, have you had enough of this lately or what?
Hey, Chris.
Rough crowd.
With a microphone.
So Chris Williams, the internationally known really,
Look at that.
sculptor who lives in Essex. And your work is just really outstanding. Chris, thank you so much for being on.
That's fun.
And you're just
Thanks.
a down home guy here. Living in Essex, doing your work.
I'm like one step up from a guy with a shovel.
No, your studio and home are here in the boonies here in Essex too.
Yeah.
Yep. We've been here 15 years, and coming off of Rockport originally, but yeah, we landed in Essex. Love it.
Yeah. So what is it about Essex? What's the attraction here?
I tell you, it's absolutely beautiful. It's stunning, and the water is so accessible. It's nice to be able to just pop the boat in and take off to the beach for a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to beat. The people are great too. It's just really comfortable.
Yeah, and we also want to say, if you're not familiar with Chris's work, he's a metal sculptor, so a lot of metals and fire and banging and bonging and all that stuff. And you might have seen his works at Logan Airport and Manchester Airport, a lot of universities around town.
Salem
I've
State
been at it a
University.
while.
And we
Salem
want to say
State.
the next big project we've been working on.
All right, tell us about this
the Sea
because
Serpent.
Yeah.
this
So
goes way back.
so
Look at this, Mo.
for several months, I've been working on a project with the Cape Ann Museum. They've asked me to create the Gloucester sea serpent, which is something that's been around, I guess, first sighted maybe in the 1600s. And, we've been on this project for just about 5 or 6 months now, and it's just really turned out great. And we finally got it in place last week. We're going to do an unveiling tomorrow at 3 o'clock, so hope to see everybody there. It's a glass and bronze project, which is something I've been fooling around with for a number of years.
We should give a shout out to the bubble factory here. That's right here
That's
in
right,
Essex
James
as well.
McLeod. Yep, he's a great guy. So, yeah, it was a team effort, and it's a really special piece. I mean, it's got a lot going for it, and it's going in a great place. It's going to be, another icon of Gloucester.
Right,
So it's
it's
gonna be-
right at the entrance to
Yep.
the Cape Ann Museum.
Yeah, right at the entrance. Yes.
Can't miss it, right on Pleasant Street.
And is it
in
going to
Gloucester.
be? You're unveiling it tomorrow during the day, but what about at night? Is it going to be?
So the sea serpent is resting on what I like to think of as a sea wall. So we've got granite blocks all stacked up, and between the blocks there's a layer of glass. So at night we're going to have some lights inside, and the light is going to come out between all of the stones. So it's going to be like a night light on the street. Be really nice.
Really cool
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Talk about a destination piece.
600 plus pounds of bronze.
Yeah.
More than 3,000 pounds of granite.
Yep.
Easily must be, right? This is
Yep.
a crazy project.
57, your order's ready inside.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I 57?
Somebody order sea serpent.
Deep fried.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really fun to do. You know.
Are you always thinking big for a project? I mean, you've done some. I mean, I've seen the dragonflies and the little things like that. But are you always? dreaming
Somebody
big?
came
Ravens and
in.
rats.
Somebody came into the shop last week, and they said that they had bought a dragonfly from me, and it was like 20 years ago. So a lot's happened over the time of becoming a sculptor. But yeah, now I'm just really, big is one part of it, and learning and discovering new ways of doing it is another. That's why I'm bringing the glass in to kind of mix with the metals, and I'm a curious guy. I like to just keep exploring the possibilities.
Yeah.
So size, exploration, hopefully I can do things that people can touch and feel and kind of appreciate.
And you sort of gravitate towards living creatures as well, recreating those.
Yeah, I mean, I like things that have a personality. I like to kind of discover who I'm working on. I usually do the faces and the heads on these things last, so I build this entire body, and then at the very last 2-3 weeks of a project, I'll finally figure out who he is. So it's fun for me. Yeah.
Do you have any other major works coming up that have you got
So
queued?
yeah, I've got a project for the Mass Convention Center in South Boston. We're doing a really big dragon for D Street on the side of they're calling it Dragon on D, And I'm also doing a contemporary piece, not an animal. It's a 4.5 foot glass ball, and all the glass pieces are sand cast glass at the bubble factory here in town.
So cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fun.
And we should say this dragon piece he's alluding to is going to rest on a 15-foot granite obelisk.
It is a big piece.
Wow.
Yeah, so the whole thing will be 25 feet high and huge wings. So, you know, dragons are popular. Who knew?
Seriously?
I've done more of those than
Game of
anything
Thrones.
else.
No kidding?
Yeah, that's like the
Yeah.
most popular thing people have been asking
So
for.
Game of Thrones was like, oh, keep it coming.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I tell you, it never gets old.
So we want to remind everyone. So tomorrow, 3 p.m. at the Cape Ann Museum on Pleasant Street in Gloucester, there's going to be the grand unveiling of the Gloucester Sea Serpent that Chris has been working on for the last 6 or 7 months or so. We'll be there. I'll show some of that
be
live
there.
on if you do the Facebook thing.
Bring
You're
something
gonna be
cold
there?
to drink. It's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, seriously. Well, beer's in the
Yeah.
trunk probably.
Chris, I have another question
Yeah.
because you do so many works, and you oftentimes have open houses. Do you have anything? Do you have a regular time for open house? Do you only have an open house when you're finishing a work?
We
or-
try to show off finished work. So every 2-3 months, something comes to an end. We'll just kind of put it out to some of the people that have been staying in touch. Yeah. So we have a Facebook announcement. We do send out email blasts and things like that. I don't like ringing the bell too often. So you know, if it's a really nice piece and I've got a chance to show it off, then 2 or 3 times a year maybe we'll open the door.
How many pieces do you do a year?
We do. I've got a couple guys working with me. We do probably 3 major projects and then a lot of little things in between. Sometimes, there's a pause between the jobs, like waiting for something to come, or maybe it just takes a little digestion and make sure you're on the right track. During those times, we kind of break away from something and do something small and quick, and get your mind off, get refreshed.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Right.
we're
And
busy
so-
all the time.
So you've got a website. Just to
Yep.
remind folks about how
Yeah,
they
okay.
can get in touch with you.
ChrisWilliamsSculpture.com is the site, and we've got a great section on that site called In the Studio, and you can see how all the projects are made. And we've got Corey, you've been doing great videos. Yeah, it's a fun business to be in, and it's fun to share it with people. So if you get a question, just email me. But otherwise, website's got a lot to offer.
There you go. And
That's
first things
great.
first, tomorrow is the next big step, and then we'll see.
Right.
We got to get back on this dragon piece.
And then every time that you go
It never
down
ends.
to the Cape Ann Museum, from now on, especially
Yeah.
at night, walk by, you'll see a beautiful,
I do.
finally, an amazing Chris Williams sculpture downtown Gloucester.
It's pretty exciting.
It is very exciting.
Yep, it really is.
I think everybody just.
So when a project like this comes along, what's the gravity of that experience like? Okay, this is gonna be a permanent fixture at the Cape Ann Museum.
Yeah.
Forever. Like, do you welcome that responsibility? Like, what's that like when you first get that call?
Well, I do both public and private commissions. The private commissions, I tend to kind of let down a little of my guard and invite clients to come in and kind of work with me and help with some of the decisions on steering the project along. The public ones, I feel all the responsibility is on me. They'll never know if there was a committee that I was consulting when I designed something. So I really feel more of a responsibility to make sure that it's going the way that I would like it to go.
Yeah, and you're a perfectionist.
So, and I just can't seem to let anything go. So this particular one, this sea serpent, I tell you, I've done hundreds of pieces, literally hundreds of pieces, large ones. And this particular job, it just feels so important to me because it's the hometown kid working right in his front yard. It's going to be in front of all my peers, and it's just, it has to be perfect.
Well,
it has to be perfect.
As someone who's been there from day one, Chris, and I'm saying this like not just as a friend as well, like you hit a grand slam here. Like it looks awesome. Seeing
I'm hoping people will love it tomorrow when the veil comes off.
Tim and Jimmy, like all working
Yeah.
together and seeing that come into focus has been really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
It's a
I'm
pretty
excited.
special piece, and
is.
I'm very excited to have it local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
All right, bud.
Great.
So thanks for spending some time with
Thank
us.
you,
You're very
Chris.
welcome.
See you tomorrow at
So
the
wonderful
museum.
to see you.
Yep. Sounds
I
good.
wish Fenella was, would
Yeah,
get on
next time,
here. My
Fenella.
good friend
This is Chris's
Fenella.
wife. That's right. All right, good luck tomorrow.
Thanks,
we'll
Chris.
see you at 3
Thank you.
p.m. Awesome.
That's right. Well, again, this is Now We're Here. I'm Mari Nairwood with my pal Corey Kukru, and we've just had a wonderful time here focusing on Essex. We're here at JT Farnhams on 133. It's getting busy. The lunch crowd is here.
Yeah.
Come on down. We're
Yeah.
going to be doing, Corey, you're going to be doing Short and Sweet shortly with.
Heather Atwood's going to be joining me shortly. We're going to be here with Terry Cellucci. She is the T, her husband is the J in JT Farnhams. And we're going to have a closer look and probably some tasting of some of the samples they have here, some of the great seafood. So.
Well, also, 1623 Studios, we're located in Gloucester, of course, but we cover Cape Ann, we cover all the communities. And with this show, Now We're Here, we're getting into each of the communities and focusing on each one and what's special about it. We're talking to folks. This show today was on Essex, but we're going to be out in the communities doing more of this. And
I love it.
It's wonderful. We get outside and we're able to feature these beautiful spots, just like the Great Marsh behind us.
Yeah, so you can find us next at Festival by the Sea in Manchester. That is, I think, Saturday, August 3rd.
Yes.
We're working out the logistics there to see where we can get situated, so that'd be awesome. And then I know we have bigger plans coming up for the rest of the summer and into fall. And like Maureen was saying, the idea is every couple of weeks we're going to your little nook and cranny here in and around Cape Ann to share the sights and sounds and enjoy the company and all the things that make Cape Ann so beautiful and unique. So it's been a pleasure bringing Now We're Here to you, and we hope we just keep climbing and climbing.
That's right, and check out our Facebook page, the 1623 Facebook page. Like us and follow us, and also we've got robust programming on Instagram. Actually, we've got a lot of clips that you can see from our different programs. We're really just picking it up a notch, I'd say.
Diversifying.
Corey.
I mean, we make such great content. I mean, because when you work in a place around here that's so beautiful and unique, it's the content just comes at you, and we just want to be able to get out there and share these stories with you. So this is just one small part of it. And like Maria was saying, you can find us on our website, 1623studios.org, or all the social outlets. We're there as well. And the hope is to keep bringing you more live coverage to sort of give you that now feeling and have you be a part of it too. And also when we're doing this, for you to come out and join us and experience this with us. So
yeah, it's a fun opportunity to be an audience at a big production like this too. We're also putting out more original content now more than ever. So please like us, come on down, visit the studio.
Yeah. Tell us where you want to go next.
Yeah, tell us where you want us to go next if you have a place that you'd like us to visit or people you'd like us to feature.
Yeah.
There's so many characters on Cape Ann.
Yeah, so we want to thank Joe and Terry Cellucci of Farnhams for having us here today. We have to thank our crew, of course.
Yep, so our crew, Lisa Smith, our producer, Lana Horn, the production assistant, Matt McMakin, our technical director, Becky Tober, who is the director today, our cameraman, David Lufkin, our intern, Seamus Swift, but also we want to thank our executive director, Eric Archer, who was batting around the zapper,
greenheads for an hour.
greenhead zapper
He's a
for a
menace
long
with
time.
an electric tennis racket.
I'm Mari Nairwood, this is Corey Kukru. For Now We're Here, for all the crew and the staff at 1623 Studios, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.